Okay, welcome back to the channel, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Today I'm going to show you a build that I did back in December and January of 2020. This is the TAMIYA M26 Dragon Wagon. This is the one that contains both the cab and the trailer. This is a kit, like many others. I was inspired by the wonderful Shepherd Payne book, How to Build Dioramas and How to Build Military Vehicles. And of course, in both of those books, this vehicle loomed large. So once I was able to get my hands on one, I couldn't resist but to build it. And here it is. So as I said, there are 600 parts in this kit, over 600 parts, some of which are metal, some of which are rope, some of which are chain. And as you can see here, I'm just kind of putting the vehicle together, following the directions very carefully, trying to plan out my next step. And at this point, the interior is painted, the dials are set in place as decals, and I'm starting the wash. At this point, I did not have a heat gun, so I had to just wait for this thing to dry overnight. And here I am starting to wipe away the excess. I did a bit of research to make sure that the color of the several fire extinguishers inside looked just right. The kit did provide decals for these. I decided to make different straps for these boxes here. Here is a section of the interior with some splatter effect and pastel work. I figured that the crews would just jump right into the vehicle and dirt would gather all over the place. Here is a muffler that I decided to weather. And now we've got the cab starting to go together. The parts, there was no fussiness with the parts. Everything just went together really nicely. It took a little while to get the right look on the ropes, as you can see there. This was a bit of a mishap with one of the transfers that I got from Archer. It was my fault, I hadn't applied it well. That would be the first of 3 attempts to get that one star on correctly. All of the other stars were easy to place. And I also used the rest of the kit decals provided by TAMIYA. Here I am starting to do a dot filter. And here's the effect of the dot filter. You can see the different tones in the green. Since this vehicle was going to be essentially just olive drab, I wanted to find a way to break up that single tone. And now here we are, the cab is finished and I'm starting to add the pastels for weathering. I decided to give the tanks a bit of a buffed look, as if somebody had been touching the top of them and the paint started to wear off a bit. So to do that, I replicated it with some gloss. This is the underside of the cab. Heavy pastel work. The steps also received quite a bit of dirt. The fifth wheel was loaded up with Winton oils, ivory black, and it looks properly greased. Now I start work on the trailer. The trailer received, of course, just a base coat and a wash, and then a slew of pastels. And here's how the wood panels looked before I applied paint on them and then started to remove the paint with a coarse brush. These chains and tow cables were created by a company called Accurate Armor, and here's the wood panels after they've been weathered. The wheels received a heavy amount of pastel chalk, and then I simply rubbed off the surface to remove any of the excess to give them this worn look. I had to make the hook more three-dimensional. It came as just a slab of metal and it needed a shape, so I dipped it in Mr. Surfacer 1500 over several coats. These straps were made from TAMIYA tape and auber buckles. Despite having left off the side view mirrors to the very end, I've still managed to break them off about 3 times, so be aware of that if you build this kit. The guard there on the port side was made out of thin sheet plastic, as well as the attachment points. And here's the final product. Very happy with this build. It was an incredible run. It was kind of intense at times, but always enjoyable, and I plan to build another one at some point. Its price tag, runs about 80 to 120 bucks depending on where you get it. It's well worth that price. Thanks again for watching. I hope you are enjoying these videos, and if you are, please hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.